Hi, everybody, and welcome back. I am Jen. I'll be your storyteller for tonight. I go by she, her, and I will be introducing our cast. Some house news. Sir Heck will be a little bit late tonight. They'll be joining us after we take our break. So, with that, we'll start at the top of the round. Alex, please introduce yourself and what character you're playing tonight.
Hey everybody, I'm Lex Wilson. My friends call me Alex, and so can you. I use he, him pronouns, and I'll be playing Dare, a brash protector who knows Jack, who also uses he, him pronouns.
Thank you very much. And Mal.
Hey, I'm Mal, aka Archangelic. I'm going to be playing Teresa Shaw, a superstitious sage who cannot escape the darkness.
Fantastic. And Soliloquy.
Hey friends, my name is Soliloquy or Jaden. I'll answer to either. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me most places online as Fat Sapphic Bro. I will be playing Jasper Joaquim Vicente, he, they pronouns, who is a hardy protector who defends what matters. As for announcements, welcome back to our space here at Lantern Light Adventures. This is home to all of our TTRPG and related content on Twitch. All of our games are also uploaded to our Lantern Light Adventures YouTube channel. There's a link to our link tree in the chat that you can click. It'll take you to all of our various social media pages so you can follow us everywhere we are. If you want to keep up to date on everything we're doing, feel free to also join our Discord, which is linked in the chat. If you want to play with us or GM for us, fill out the TTRPG actual play interest form, which you can find linked in our link tree. And once you filled out that form, I will email you back with our TTRPG consent form, and then we can match you with games from there. Thanks for joining us today for the Old Stories, The Breathing Mountain, our horror-themed Old Gods of Appalachia actual play. We will be streaming this game every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. PST. Friendly reminder that this is a horror-themed game, so please care for yourselves as needed. As for where you can find us the rest of the week, on most Sundays from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. PST, we stream Era of the Dragons, our D&D 5e actual play. On most Mondays from 5 to 7 p.m. PST, Archangelic, our lovely producer Polygeist, and myself have been streaming our playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. If you'd like to play with us as a guest, reach out to me at any time. Otherwise, feel free to come and hang out with us while we play. Most Tuesdays from 6 to 9 p.m. PST, we stream An Empty Dream, our Girl by Moonlight actual play. We also record an audio cast after show for each of our games where we go over any necessary advancement steps and debrief from the game. You can listen to these for free on our Patreon at patreon.com/lanternlightadventures. All of these after shows will always be free, but we appreciate any contributions and support as it helps us to continue to bring you awesome queer content. Starting in June, we will be taking the full last week of the month off every month instead of just last Sunday of the month so that we can edit and prepare more content for y'all and also take a little break for ourselves. And finally, throughout the month of June, as a celebration of Pride Month, we're raising money alongside Pride Revolution in support of the Trans Empowerment Project. The link and information can be found in the chat. And in support of a free Palestine, we will be financially supporting a family through the Pass the Hat project. More information for that will be shared once we are assigned our family. That is it for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Now, let's get back into it. It starts with a warning. The mountain spewing black coal dust ushered miners and foremen out of its deep, cavernous pits, bringing us into the modern day of 1925. Here, our gathered group finds themselves at conflict between Jonas, a pro-union man, and the company man, Mr. McCavish, who has brought prosperity to the town of Timber. The group talks to various people, various gossipers, such as Miss Jenny Brown, gets to know Jonas a little bit, gets to know Silas, the foreman of the mountains itself. A brief introduction with Mr. McCavish getting what he rightfully deserved, a black eye, and some praise from some supporters. Overall, the group gets to know one another, and the town of Timber, in its ancientness and profound ways, lets itself be known as various creatures of this odd backwood holler kind of present themselves to the group. A knot deer, a thing lurking in the shadows, something warning them about a beloved. And then you have the Crossroads Man, willing to make a deal with each of our members here, offering one for free. All they have to do is just call his name and he will be there for them. And as the group kind of settled back into their homes, Miss Jenny Brown did try to get to Beatrice the next morning, but as we turn away from that, we find ourselves in the morning looking down quietly at three houses. Teresa, Jasper, Dare, all slumbering soundly, waiting for the morning, and you feel the morning dew reach you quite predominantly, as it's the holler and it's springtime, and well, the morning starts early and so does the crow, and it wakes you up like racket on ballpark. And who would you think out of all of you would be up first?
I think Dare might have a little trouble sleeping in general because the devil or the non-devil, the Crossroads Man, mentioned his pappy, and that's gonna mess with him a little bit.
Very much so. So Dare, struggling to sleep, and you find the morning hours kind of greet you, the mist of the day kind of pushing in, making everything that just slightly uncomfortable damp. It's not pleasant, but it's there. You hear the crow kind of scream itself across the holler. It does this every morning. Nobody actually likes it, but nobody can actually find this crow. They are annoyingly evasive, and people have just given up. But the morning does greet you. And there is a gentle rapping on your door, and you kind of hear Jonas call out to you, kind of wanting your attention this bright and early morning.
Yeah, I opened the door.
See
Come
the
on in. You want some coffee?
kind of nods, still supporting that black eye and busted lip from the night before. A few more bruises from where he fell from the whiskey and, well, moonshine. And he kind of shuffles in, shuts the door behind him, and kind of looks around before he kind of pulls his hats off and kind of holds it to his chest. Didn't mean to bother you, Miss Dare, but just wanted to talk.
Well, you came to wake up this town or you didn't, so sounds like you're here to wake us up. What do you got?
Well, that's the thing. I went to talk to the foreman, Silas, and the miners, but they've already headed down into the mine, and nobody actually will let me down there to see and inspect. I was wondering if you had any sway with them.
Uh, I can talk to them, but if they don't want you down there, that means that they're worried about your safety as well as their own. So just give it time. You're new here. You know, don't rush it. People can tell you're young and desperate if you're young and desperate. Not that you are. So I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe you're right, man. Maybe I'm rushing it a bit much, but hey, uh, I want to do right by these people. I mean, they're good people. Timber's seen a lot, you know.
Sure, but what do you think you're going to see down there that you haven't seen in other places?
Probably much of the same, honestly, but it's more of if I can catalog, I can present a case. I can take it up to those fancy men in DC.
See, that might be an issue because people just don't like other people knowing our business. So that might be one of the reasons why people are a little standoffish.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be. I mean, it's got to be something I can do. But I mean, maybe just give him more time. Just wait, I suppose. But he kind of digs through his pockets. I picked these up. I don't. Mom had always said bring a gift, and he kind of brings out a bushel of apples and sets it on your kitchen table.
And where did you get these, pray tell?
Well, Market had some. I just assumed that folks bring them in.
Who at the market had some?
I don't know, the fruit seller guy. I'm not great with all the names. I'm sorry.
Is it George? Metagaming, was it George who's
George is the moonshiner,
That's
so
what I
he
thought.
does have apples, but
he's not the okay.
he's
Would
not
I
the
know
seller.
would I know who's selling who sells fruit?
Yeah, you would actually, because you're from here. You would know. Let me just pull up their
If it's a
name real
regular
quick.
person.
Mm-hmm. You would know them to be Zach.
Would it be Zach? I describe him ballpark.
Yeah. And you see Jonas kind of nod. Yeah, that's the fella.
Okay. That's interesting. Well, if I have any advice for you right now, you mind if you're going to leave me a couple of these apples? Is that what I'm
Yeah,
gathering?
man. I paid like 50 cents for them, so they're yours. So
Ah, good for Zach. Okay. Kudos to him. Um, all right. If I've got any advice for you at this point, it's to talk less and listen more. And if you see some things around here, I wouldn't go straight to telling people in DC.
okay. I'll make note of that.
And you'll know
just
what I'm talking about when you see it.
he looks confused for a moment. All right. If you say so, Mr. Dare. I mean,
The more you learn about us, the more you see, the more you're going to be one of us. That's probably the best advice I can give.
all right. I'll keep a lookout for things, Mr. Dare. Thank you. For the warning.
I don't know that it's a warning, but I don't know. Welcome to town. Hope you survive the experience.
He looks even more confused and kind of takes a half step back towards the door. Uh, I'm just gonna go, Mr. Dare. Nice seeing you this morning, sir. He kind of fumbles for the doorknob from behind him and kind of pushes it back open and steps out. Yep, shuts it and leaves.
All right, I probably just stare at the apples. I have no idea whether I want to eat them or not.
They are a kind of a nice kind of red and green yellow. Those really nice fall apples. They're kind of sweet and crisp, not the mealy ones, but the really nice ones.
Do I know apples? Would I recognize this as like even if it was in season, it would not come from around here.
Roll for apple knowledge.
You would know that these apples are actually quite local to this area, but again, they actually only grow in the fall, and it's the wrong season.
And the correct term is apple genius. But okay, good to know. I take a bite of one and I chew it, but I don't swallow.
Sweet and crisp as if it were newly plucked off of the tree itself.
All right. I think I spit it out outside.
You do so when you see a scattering of rabbits that were disturbed on your lawn. They were eating your garden, as they tend to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I throw the rest of the apple at them. Get out of here.
They scatter off, and you see a couple very disgruntled crows. They're not happy with this disturbance so early in the morning, and they let you know about it. They yell at you for a good half hour about this.
Cool. I get ready for work listening to that. Like the opposite of Cinderella with the animals yelling at me.
They're very angry with you. So who would be the next person to rise this morning?
I slept on Teresa's couch because there were too many weird things that happened.
Mhm.
So I imagine I'll be up a little bit early.
Very much so. So, as you kind of rise, Jasper, again, you're greeted with the dampness of the morning. It's that spring kind of morning in the holler, kind of that nice pale yellow golden light you see only in the morning. And the trees kind of blotted out, the mountains themselves kind of blotted out, but it's just that right, nice shade that you only get at this time of the day. You hear some disturbances outside. It's mostly local animals trying to fight over food or just call it a general disturbance, as morning animals do. They are well and truly into Teresa's garden, and they're just having a fun time. Um, you do see the local herd of deers, but you don't see any of the not deer this morning. Doesn't seem they want to be out in the morning. Probably like to sleep in. Very relatable for a weird shark teeth mini-eyed thing. And other than that, everything's quite calm and quiet. Nothing's really bothering you other than disturbances outside. Teresa's resting at the moment. The cards that were kind of placed or tucked away, I believe you said there, Teresa. Nothing other than maybe pulled out chairs and leftover bread is all you have from the previous night.
All right, I'll probably clean up a little. I still can't see scratches on the wall, right?
No.
Okay. I feel like I probably spent an embarrassingly long amount of time just staring at the wall, trying to like will myself to see whatever it was that Teresa saw. And then eventually I will have fallen asleep. And then when I get up, I'll just kind of clean up and shuffle about until Teresa wakes up.
All right. Teresa,
Yeah.
you definitely hear Jasper shuffling around in your home.
Yeah. Teresa might even actually have been up, like just laid in bed with that stone in. I don't remember. Did I have the stone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
Yeah.
the party deemed you the most responsible.
Fair enough. Um.
And deemed us get the far away from that as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the
She.
magic person, not us.
Yeah. She was probably actually up just a little bit before, but just laid in bed with that stone. Um. Thinking about, worried about looking through it, but wanting to see what it might reveal, you
Mhm.
know. And when she hears Jasper get up and start clattering around, and in her mind she's thinking, oh bless his heart, he tries so hard to just like sneak through the house, but he can't. um and this is an old house. Yeah, it's a wood construction home. Every step creaks.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
she'll get up, she'll get her, tie her hair back, um put on her apron, slip the stone into one of her apron pockets, and go out, and she will just see Jasper and kind of just quietly like move past and go and make some coffee.
Of course. You have one of those old percolating coffee makers because those are real durable and they do quite last forever. And yeah, you can make that nice little coffee, put a little bit of effort. You have some water from the nice creek that gives you the nice crisp mountain water. It's the best. And yeah, you make breakfast and it smells great.
And I think as she's sitting at the table eating her breakfast, she's just thumbing that stone. And I think she's going to ask Jasper, what do you think about this? And she uses set the stone at the table.
I am a fair amount of intrigued, I will say. I don't know much about magic or magic items or understanding or using magic, but there seem to be some weird things happening. The scratches on the wall. Can you still see them?
Can I still see them?
They're still there.
She'll just kind of dejectedly nod, like a little bit of like, am I going crazy?
I've stared at it for so long and have not seen anything yet.
Bless your heart.
And I wonder if this weird little rock thing would show us anything.
She'll at first hold it up and just kind of look at it. She'll look at the scratches and she will put it up to her eye and see if it reveals anything. And I think the moment she does it, she kind of says to herself, like, this is so stupid.
All right, move yourself. If you make a note for this, please. Move yourself 2 up, so.
Okay.
Something is starting to be very aware of your presence.
Oh, I don't love that.
As you look through this hagstone, and it kind of almost ripples in the way oil ripples across water or any surface. You have that array of a rainbow in front of your eye, and for a moment, you do still see the scratchings of beloved on your wall. And next to you, you feel a presence and you see a hand come into view, kind of reaching for the plate in front of you and almost touch a fork very gently, as if to move it into place, but not quite. There's a wedding band on the finger.
I think without thinking, she will reach out for the hand.
You do so, and something intercepts you as a secondary hand grabs your wrist and jerks it back.
With that, she drops the stone and just pushes her chair back.
What?
Something grabbed my hand. I I thought I saw Owen for just a second. And then I went to reach for his hand. I only saw his hand. And I went to reach for him and something pulled me away.
Perhaps we should not play with this stone.
This is old world stuff. I didn't know we should. Yeah, I agree. We should not take this lightly. And she'll put the stone back in her apron.
Speaking of Owen, the that man in the woods offered us favors. Have you thought about it? Asking for Owen back.
I ain't thought of nothing else. I tried to be strong against that demon, but I ain't gonna lie, the temptation's strong. Just asked to see him just for a moment. It was just so fast. He was here and he was gone. And
It's really sudden. I guess I just worry that whatever he might bring back wouldn't be Owen.
yeah, equal shots that it's all a lie. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to take that risk.
I think that's reasonable. And I'll just put my hand on your hand, just like a comforting pat.
Yeah, she'll grab it. Well, not sure what things are in store for us today, but I guess we'll see what happens.
As this conversation continues, Dare, you make it to work, and a few townspeople greet you here and there. They're well aware of you, and some are already lined up at your work buying various things and are excited for the new type of breads that are coming out. Rye has been pretty popular as of late. Pumpernickel, weirdly. Oh, here, I think you're muted. Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh no.
Oh no. We
Um,
have chipmunk status again.
Really?
Oh,
oh,
there you
okay.
We're
are.
good.
Okay. Okay.
Just like a split second of chipmunk.
I'm a serious person. All right, we're
So
back.
I was a serious person, and I was going to say rye is a fad. It's just stylish. It's the bread of the week. It's going to go away. Nobody's going to care in a month. You people wanting all the latest trends from New York and Boston.
Bagels are weirdly a rumor right now. You're not having any of it.
No, no, we do serious bread.
Serious bread for serious people.
That's
Sourdough
right.
all the way.
That's right.
But when you come in, your usual customers are there. They're kind of wanting this new fad because, well, it's new, it's different, and well, everybody wants something new and different here in Timber. And with the prosperity boom that's kind of going through the town at the moment, you've seen your fair share of income at this point. And you see, looks to be Mr. McCavish come in, kind of talking to one of his people, and he comes in and places an order for rye bread and your famous sourdough. He seems to be very fond of both.
Cool.
But as you kind of make these orders and shift through things, you overhear, I would say, no, make a perception roll as it's quite crowded today. It's perception, intellect, anything of that nature.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I have anything fancy. All right. Lucky 13.
Okay. Let's see. No, I think you'll catch part of the conversation, not the whole conversation. But you get the sense that Mr. McCavish is leaning towards Jonas not being around for much longer. And that there's a shipment coming in of his prized foods that he's willing to share with the town, and that he can just write it off for tax purposes. He wants to be on the straight and narrow when it comes to the tax man.
And is the tax man? I guess I don't know that I would know how corrupt the tax man is in this scenario. Okay, interesting.
But they buy the bread, and people kind of take their place as Mr. McCavish gets what he wants and shuffles back out into the town proper. And the day is kind of peeking away from that early morning. The mist has vanished, and you do start hearing more and more people out in the street as they go to work or they're just buying things in town. You get the sense that there's a new horse derby kind of cropping up down in the next holler that they're trying to organize. Some of the finer horses in Timber are going to be showcased in this, so they're quite excited for that. You catch little snippets of this conversation. It's just fun conversation. People are already trying to organize betting rings, the typical things. You do see George kind of pop in and kind of set a jug of moonshine on top of your counter and says new stuff as he kind of awkwardly shrugs and turns away to leave.
Hang on there a minute, George.
Yep. As he turns back around.
You know, we've all been really impressed with the flavors of your latest concoction. Where are these apples coming from?
You see him kind of glance around and back to you. Trees.
What kind of trees give apples in the spring? Is it spring?
Mm-hmm. It's spring.
Yeah.
He kind of shrugs. Apple trees.
Who got you the apples, George?
He kind of sits, kind of leans back on his heels and kind of says, "Don't you worry about it, Mr. Dare. Don't you worry about it."
I worry about everything, George.
drink some of my moonshine, you won't worry about a thing. Everybody's happy to have it. Everybody's buying nice and pretty. Don't ruin a good thing for me, Mr. Dare. Not to be rude, of course, but I'm making good money, and that's pretty good for me.
You have a good day, George.
Yes, you too, Mr. Dare. If you want to buy it directly, I mean, I can show you. He gives a small wink as he turns around and kind of leaves with another jug under his arm to go across the street to give it to the haberdashery lady who seems to be flirting with him, but it kind of sails over George's head. It's obvious he's not the most observant person when it comes to flirting.
Well, okay then.
The day kind of crawls on, and what are you two doing, Teresa and Jasper?
You know, it strikes me I don't actually know what Jasper does for work.
I think that so Jasper mostly helps you with stuff, so they kind of do like like hired like on hand help, like muscle, like when people need things moved around or when folks need a little bit extra, maybe a bodyguard for a little bit, we just kind of like freelance it a little.
Influencer. When things need influencing, I influence.
Love that. So um I imagine Teresa would probably have someone who would come in for a card reading. As that's how, she makes her living as much as she can.
Definitely. Your first appointment kind of arrives, and there's just a sharp, brisk knock at your door.
She'll kind of dust herself off and go and answer the door.
Greeting you is a kind of youngish man. He looks to be about in his 20s. Roll a history check.
Okay. That's only a 7.
He looks familiar, but you can't quite place it.
How can I help you, young man?
Well, my sister said she got a reading from you last week. Can he pulls out a silver dollar. I'm not sure how this works, ma'am.
She'll kind of reach for the silver dollar, take it, put it in her apron. She says, "Come on in," and she'll open the door and let him in. She has put her best tablecloth over the table, and set up some candles and things to kind of give it a sense that it's a little more than, just helping folks. Give it a little bit more of that spiritualism vibe. And she says, she sits him down. She says, she'll sit down and start shuffling the cards and says, what kind of answers are you searching for, son?
You see him kind of take his hat off and sheepishly sit down across from you, kind of stare at the cards, then to you. Leans forward quietly. Now, are you like a witch woman? Or are you like a descendant from like you can tell he's trying to approach this in a delicate manner, but can't quite get there.
He says, things unseen. Speak to me and tell me what you need to know. I don't know if I'd call myself a witch, but I am in touch with the other side.
All right. Well, Miss Teresa, I don't want to stay in Timber forever. I kind of want to leave. I want to go to big city, Miss Teresa. I want to go to Lexington. Jobs in Lexington. I don't want to be a miner. I snuck away on my lunch hour. Don't tell Mr. Silas.
My lips are sealed. She will set the cards in front of him and ask him to cut the cards.
He does so in a tentative manner and kind of jerks his hand away as he kind of it's still rather unsure of this, and he's just
it ain't a snake, son.
cautious.
It ain't gonna bite you.
Mama always said respect the spirits and stuff, and she said this holler's not always safe when it comes to this thing. So I'm not sure, Miss Teresa.
You know, your mama raised you right. I don't want anyone to question her, but the cards need to know about you. You need to introduce yourself to them.
Well, I'm Willie Turner, and he kind of looks at the cards. Is that how you do it?
Just split the deck in two, and that'll be
Hmm.
enough.
Oh, okay. He splits the deck and kind of sits back. I do it right?
Yeah, she'll grab them. She'll stack them on top of each other, pull them, um, and she says that'll do just fine. And Teresa's making a mental note that this is Willie Turner.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, you read for his sister, Sophia Turner, last week. She's a bit older than Lily. Lily, she's about maybe 10 years his senior at this point.
okay. And she'll pull some cards for him. She'll probably just pull 3 cards.
Okay. All right, so pull 3 cards. So as you do so, you can get the reading I pulled or allow for a GM intrusion to get an XP.
I'll take the XP.
Okay. So as you pull these cards and start flipping them over, blank. You flip another one. It's blank. You flip the third one. It's blank.
Um, she'll draw another card, and if they're blank, she'll just keep pulling cards.
They're all blank.
She Her heart rate rises. She panics and she stands up and she says, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. She hands the silver dollar back to him.
Oh,
Um, you tell your sister that she can come by anytime. Um, and and you take care of your mom and them, okay? And she kind of like starts escorting him out the door.
okay, yeah, of course, Mr. Teresa. Thank you. He kind of clutches the silver dollar to his chest and grabs his hat as he's kind of ejected out of your home. And you just kind of hear him as he kind of wanders back down the path. What in tarnation? What was that?
She shuts the door and like starts breathing. And she says, "Get out of my house, you hate!" And she like pulls the salt from her um apron and like scatters it.
You do so, and there's a scattering, and well, initially you didn't feel anything. You just feel something kind of pull away from you just for a moment before it repositions itself at your side.
What is it you want from me?
Mhm. Jasper, you actually see this as well, as you hear a scratching on the wall, and a star is drawn into the paint, joined by another and another, on what looks to be a night sky full of falling stars.
I see that one. Uh, so I imagine that like when this person got here and I knew that you were gonna have like a client, basically, I walked out front to start shooing the animals away from the garden. And so like when he left, I came in to be like, what's going on?
Um, Teresa will look at the cards and are they still blank?
No. In fact, his entire reading is there. You see the Fool, you see the Chariot, and you see Temperance.
Well, that's a perfectly fine reading to tell him what he wanted to hear. But oh, when I pulled these cards, they were blank, not a thing on them. I I got him out of here as soon as I could because I didn't want whatever's here to bother that poor boy.
Yeah, that's reasonable. What the hell is going on?
I don't know. I really don't know. And
There would
can you describe what's on the wall again to me?
a field of stars that look like they're falling. So you can come to an easy conclusion: a meteor shower or falling stars.
It looks like this is like an omen or something. It looks like, if I had to guess, there's gonna be fallen stars and something bad's gonna happen.
But uh, what are we supposed to do with this information?
That's what we get for listening to spirits. They're never specific enough.
That's why I leave this to you.
As you say that, Dare, would you allow GM intrusion for an XP?
Sure.
And Jasper, would you allow a GM intrusion for an XP?
Absolutely.
Would you, Teresa?
Yeah, I'll take it.
It's a beautiful day. Gorgeous. Bright, beautiful birds are singing their songs. Town is just having a perfect day. High to prosperity in the town of Timber. And as the stars are being etched into your wall, Teresa, you witnessing this, Jasper, there in the flour you are kind of spreading across the counter to make your dough, you start seeing stars being drawn in the flour. And then something is being etched into the wood and the walls of the cabin, of your counter, of there's every surface you can imagine, Dare. You just see the word beloved. All three of you see this word being written over and over and over. It doesn't stop until 10 phrases of this word just written across over and over. And next to it, you just see the stars are falling in these scratch lines, jagged and broken. And you see underneath one of the very last renditions of this word, a carved, broken mountain, right neatly under the word beloved.
Is that a familiar looking broken mountain?
It's the one you're all very familiar with. The one that puts your holler and shadow right at the noon sun, and right on cue, that shadow creeps across the town, settling.
Well, I'm squeezing my dough like a stress ball.
Your coworkers take notice and tell you to ease up. You're just going to put too much air into the bread and make some other finagle bread that they don't want. They're already tired of making rye. But they don't seem to notice these words.
Well, I try to pretend that I don't see them either.
You try, but they're always there.
I'm taking a tobacco break.
Easily enough done. Nice fine tobacco is being sold, and you have a nice pouch full of it, I would say. Co-workers just kind of slag you off in the way co-workers do, poking fun at your stress and kind of making sure you're all right, but ultimately just let you go.
I sit outside, take some deep breaths. Do I close my eyes? Do I still see the words? Do I see it on the outside of the building?
It doesn't seem to be on the outside. Just seems to be where you were, whatever this moment was, past.
All right. After a few minutes, I peek back in. Does it look like would still see them, or is...
Yeah, it's all gone now.
Take another deep breath or exhale and get back to work?
You do so. Your coworkers help you out. They think maybe you just are working a bit too hard, but they take a little bit more of your load off, and do more of the customer front service stuff so you don't have to deal with people.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to deal with people. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is why I work in the back.
Yeah.
That's on you.
You get a kind of chuckle from some of the bakers, and one of them just kind of waves their hands as they take over the counter duty, and they have more of a friendlier customer service than you do at the moment. But the day wears on. Is there anything you'd like to do before night kind of pushes itself into the holler?
Um, I would want to. We'll check in on our missing PC, but that can wait. Maybe check in on Zach
Of course.
if he's around. Is he around? Yeah, I bet he's probably still selling.
Yeah, it's an all day affair to sell things. So he's still at his stall selling bushels of apples, tons of them, in fact.
I approach and say, "Hey, that's an impressive harvest you've got there."
Well, thank you, dear. I appreciate that. They're quite a gift, I'd have to say.
Interesting choice of words. So, to what do you credit this abundance?
Well, George showed me where the grove was kind of growing, and he let me take some to sell in the market. I mean, kids gotta eat something. I mean, I'm just selling them cheap to kids, but if you're buying a bunch of them, like 12 dozen or so, 50 pence, that's easily done for. I mean, I have a lot, so I'm not hurting for sales. And he kind of grins as he looks towards his bushels of apples quite fondly. I'm making good money.
Where's this grove?
And, oh, yeah, you have to kind of talk to George. I promise not to show people. Promise is
Zach.
promise. I'm gonna
Zach.
look, dear. I like you and stuff, but I want to upset George. He's my lifeline to making my missus happy, and I got kids to feed.
All right, Zach. Glad you're doing so well.
He kind of nods a little. Hey, don't tell any others about the grove. All right.
Of course not.
All
I
right.
can't.
He kind of
I've-
pauses as he looks around and leans towards you a bit. They're a gift, you know. Don't screw it up.
Who calls them a gift?
Doesn't quite meet your eyes. Can roll intelligence, or if you have persuasion.
I have neither. I'm going to take a stab at this and say, that grove isn't anywhere near a crossroads, is it?
He thinks for a moment. Huh. Never thought about it. Suspect it is. It's kind of sitting at the fork of the old creek and river.
It's not a gift from a man in white, is what I'm asking.
Not that I know. The one who gave it to me was well, he kind of thinks for a minute. Actually, I don't remember. I just know George showed me, and uh, some guy, some gentleman offered me a gift.
A gentleman not from around here.
Oh no, he was around here. Yeah, he had our accent. He was from the holler. He said so himself.
Well, if he said so.
He had no reason to lie to me. I remember that much.
I described the Crossroads Man a little bit.
Zach kind of shakes his head. Honestly, that just looks like a company man, if you're being honest with me, Mr. Dare.
All right, well, anything else you can tell me?
Oh, it was, I went at night. Moon was kind of like the one last night. Uh, lightning bugs were out. Got some lightning bugs from my sweet Anne. She likes them in a little jar. She likes them at night. Uh, flowers were nice. Spring day.
Is apples something that you wished for?
Yeah. I read somewhere before I got into all this that apples have this kind of vitamin in them, and my kid needed some medicine, and well, it seemed to help when they got that nutrition in them, I suppose. But I just wanted a way to support my family without going up in those mines. I don't want to die, and fruit selling's better than rocks.
I appreciate that. How's your kid doing now?
Much better. Little Anne's, she's grown up quite nice now. We're thinking about sending her to school next year. She's getting old enough for it, and she's bright as a button, and
Well,
smarter than I am. So,
well, that teacher sure knows her stuff. So I think you don't got anything to worry about when you're ready to send her off.
that'll be great. Probably walk her there myself each morning because I don't want her to get lost. I mean, the school's not too far, but still mountain lions in these places. He kind of looks annoyed at the fact there's natural predators in the mountain, but
I'll be discreet with what you told me. I appreciate you sharing. And I buy an apple.
yeah, he kind of holds up hand. That one's for free.
Always obliged. You have a good one, Zach.
Take care there. If you want to play some poker with us, a couple boys and I are gonna go play tomorrow night. If you want to come,
I'm always down for a card party.
I'll let everybody know. All right. Excuse me. There. See, he turns to another customer.
Afternoon.
All right. Anything else you guys would like to do before the night kind of pushes itself into this holler? All right. So the night kind of settles in, and there, if you want to, you can go home. It's been a good day. A lot of people brought a lot of bread. Zach has sold out of his apples and is quite pleased and let you know that he's going to buy some whiskey for tomorrow's game if you're joining. And asks what your favorite kind is. There's only two kinds being sold in Timber, but if you want a choice, he'll pick yours up. But the night kind of settles in like it did previous night. Beautiful star-filled sky. That kind of half-quarter moon is kind of making its way slowly across the sky. You do hear whippoorwills kind of calling to each other across the holler. The occasional scream of a bobcat that gets a little too close to the town and then follows itself by a shotgun trying to scare them away. But the night is quiet. It's nothing too special, but it is nighttime.
Silas is the one who gave the stone to Dare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like we should give him a visit. I know he works during the day. So
You want to go talk to him about it?
yeah, can talk to him about it.
Do you suppose we should check in with our friends as well?
You know, that ain't a bad idea.
See if anyone else is experiencing anything unusual.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk to our baker friend. Yeah, we'll go see Silas, not Silas,
There.
Dare.
Yeah, easily enough done. The night with your lanterns or what have you, torches, whatever you bring with you, lights a nice and easy path all the way to Dare's home. You do see some scattering of nighttime creatures, nothing too concerning. They're nighttime creatures. A couple bats trying to get their grub down, and a few owls calling to each other. But again, it's a nice, quiet night.
Yeah, knock on your door.
I open it.
Now a good
Mr.
time
Issa?
to talk.
It'll be a weird one, but I guess
Weird, you
we
say?
we probably should. I was debating coming to see you.
Oh,
Well,
great. We got double weird. Fantastic.
Uh-oh, what happened to you?
more signs, more omens, or what have you. More scratches on my walls. I'm gonna have to go get some paint tomorrow.
Well, I was at the bakery and all of a sudden I started seeing the word beloved written over and over again everywhere in the wood, on the table, underneath my dough, on the walls, and then underneath that there was a an image of the broken mountain. And
I
then
think Jasper just looks at Teresa like absolutely flabbergasted.
I went outside to let's say steal myself for for more what was coming, but maybe I was just recovering from what I just saw. And when I went back in, it was gone.
Well, I was giving a boy a reading. When I pulled the cards were blank. Not sure what that was about.
Hmm.
But when I got that boy out of here and out of my house, and then on the walls, falling stars scratched into my wall.
I think I saw those kind of stars first before the word beloved, now that you mention it. And is it still there? Did it stay or did it go away?
It stayed, right?
The newer stuff all faded away. Just that
Um,
original beloved stayed.
just what I saw the first time. Just beloved stayed. This faded away.
About when did this happen?
Oh, this would have been. I guess GM can answer that better.
Early morning, about right before noon, before the mount or late morning, right before the mountain kind of cast its shadow over the town.
And that was probably about the same time as mine happened, right?
Yeah.
I let them know that.
But what's more is that this time Jasper saw it too.
Well,
I did.
well, thanks a lot, Miss Teresa. Yeah, she knows I'm kidding, probably.
Oh yeah. She ain't
Yeah.
worried about
Okay, okay.
it.
Uh, well, while we shake that off a little, I tell them about conversations with Zach and George, the about the apples, and I have the suspicion that the apples were a gift granted by our Crossroads man, but the Crossroads man looked like somebody else.
I mean, he did seem to be able to alter his visage,
Yeah.
which
I have
means
a
he's already in the, already trying to get into the pockets of other folks in town.
Yeah, God help us if the company men decide to make wishes and get
Oh
them
God.
granted. Maybe we were a little too hasty in saying no. Enemy of our enemy.
Hmm.
Or if he gets to Jonas, Jonas seems like a man desperate to get a leg up.
Yeah, I think Jonas's heart is in the right place,
Yeah.
provided it's somebody doesn't try to cut it out. I do have some of these apples. I don't know, Miss Teresa, if you could take a look at them, if you can see if there's anything wrong with them.
I'll take a look at him.
Yeah. Nice red, green, yellow apples, the ones you find in the fall. Um, Quite common around the area. There's several groves, but again, a bit odd for them to be here in the springtime. They're not mass produced across the world yet. And they smell nice, just like apples would when they're freshly picked.
I mean, I hope there's nothing wrong with them. We got most of the town eating them right now because they're so cheap. Zach's, has a free supply, it sounds like, and he's making the right amount of money for it. He's not bilking anybody, it doesn't sound like.
Mhm. I'll take a pocket knife and just cut it in half. Just want to see if it looks like a normal apple inside.
Cut it in half like you would, and inside you do see the apple star of the seeds kind of in the middle. Um, Beautiful inner fleshy white apple flesh. And smells even sweeter now that it's cut open.
It tastes right too. I didn't swallow it, just a little standoffish when it comes to stuff I don't understand, which unfortunately is a lot in these parts.
Yeah, finding apples like this time of year, that's very strange. Especially finding them here. Maybe I don't know if we want to go look at this grove. I mean,
That might not be a terrible idea. We do have that stone, but
felt something look at me when I was looking through it.
Like what?
When I looked through it, I got this feeling that something else was there, but I saw a hand that I could have swore was Owen's. But when I went to reach for it, something grabbed my hand, something else.
Oh, that sounds horrifying, Mystery. So I'm really sorry you had to go through that.
Still alive, I guess. I don't know. Everything just feels bad right now. And quite
Yeah.
frankly, I don't know how to cope with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what to do from here, but also I don't want to sit around and wait for bad things to happen. And I got a feeling that something bad is coming.
Your cards still aren't blank, are they?
No, when I turned back after I got him out of the house, they were fine. It was a normal reading. And would have answered his questions. It just would have been a normal day.
My pappy used to tell me that the bad shit can't last forever. And what he told me was all I got to do is learn how to hold my breath. And then when I start breathing again, the world's going to be a different place, even if it's just a little bit. Sounds like these things that we're seeing, they can't last. So if that happens again, just hold your breath. By the time you start breathing again, it should be over.
Yeah. Well, sounds like sage advice. I'll take it to heart.
Yeah. He wasn't the brightest guy, but he had a few moments. You want to go check out this grove? Jasper? What do you think?
yeah, I think that'd be a good place to start. And I don't know if we want to Teresa had mentioned checking up on Silas.
Yeah. I don't know. Silas clearly saw whatever this or felt whatever this beloved creature is before we did. So that might have answers, but that grove is very strange.
I wouldn't mind having Beatrice with us. Miss Beatrice,
Yeah.
she seems to know stuff of the non-magical variety. So, but I guess we'll fill her in later.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to. Maybe we go to the grove for now.
Yeah, I think by the description that Zach gave, between the three of us, we could probably navigate to pretty close to it if I don't already know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, you would know
Or that
roughly where George lives, and you would assume he wouldn't go too far from his supply, especially from moonshine.
hmm
Um,
And
yeah,
that crossroads he described,
yeah, and the crossroads you would very well know where that is. It's It's a beautiful place, and a lot of kids like to hang around there during the summer times because of the creek and the river, and it's a good fishing spot, you know. But yeah, you would easily and dutifully make your way there if you so wish. There's a path that would cut through some fields that would be quicker, or you can stick to the main road. It's up to you.
How we feeling?
Maybe we'll just stick to the main roads.
Sounds good.
I don't feel like we're feeling particularly adventurous.
Liable to be shot at or see a critter if we
Everyone's a little
cut through
shaken
the
up.
fields.
Yeah, you don't want to see more not deer. You don't want to see more things like that. Is that what I'm hearing?
It is funny. We did volunteer to play this game. You know. It's not
Yeah,
exactly,
you did volunteer to see the terrible things that lurk in the dark.
No, we're
Um,
not going to let you show us terrible things. We know
Just a
what we
little
signed
peek.
up for.
Just a little peek. It's all eyes from here. But you make your way down the main road, kind of following through this thoroughfare that kind of cuts through the town itself. And you kind of follow along the path, and you do know that the river kind of cuts its way through the town, and you can cross the bridge itself to get to where you need to. And about maybe 35 minutes later, you do come to the grove, and it's full of apples.
how many trees are we talking?
A full
apple
orchard,
trees.
like full on grove, like you would see at an orchard, like rows and rows of neatly kept trees.
Well, this is a little bit more than weird. This is bordering on a damn miracle.
Yeah. I go up to one of the bigger or closer trees if they're all about the same size, and take a look at the wood. And I don't have a lot of experience with this, but I've seen an apple tree before.
Yeah.
Does it look like an apple tree?
Looks like those weird crooked ass trees you see in apple orchards, the ones that are a bit squat and kind of limbs everywhere, heavy with apple fruits, and it smells nice. You see lightning bugs, you see baskets ready to gather some more apples at the ready. Yeah, it's an apple tree.
Nothing strange about the roots or the soil or is the vegetation. I don't know, I might ordinarily see, a certain type of grass or not grass underneath the apples because of the shade from the sun. Is it about what I expect?
It's about what you expect. You do see a lot of beautiful flowers, kind of what you'd find here in the mountains. A lot of foxgloves, what looks to be honeysuckle bushes, kind of framing this orchard. Yeah, it's nice. If anything, it looks well and professionally kept.
Well, seems like Crossroads Man came through, I suppose.
About this.
I mean, I suppose we could just ask him, but that seems like a mistake in and of itself.
You all hear, I'd hardly call myself a mistake. You did call me at a crossroads after all, as you see the grinning visage of the Crossroads Man sitting on a stump. Well, Miss Dare, you did call me here. Tricky little thing that you are.
Oh, all we got to do is say your name, eh?
Just say it at a crossroads. It doesn't take much. I'm kind of annoyed by it myself, but those are the laws. Also, the interpretation is a bit loose, so here I am.
Yeah, I almost say something and then I stop myself, then I almost say something else and I stop myself, just like Alex is almost saying something and stopping himself. But he's going out of his way not to say too much to Mr. Crossroads Man.
He looks a little different tonight, rather than the handsome, charming young fellow you saw before. He has kind of wild curly red hair, eyes that aren't quite eyes, and a very wide smile across his face, and his skin's almost stone-like, bark-like, you can't really tell.
I don't know if I believe you fully, Demon, but you said we get one thing free, no strings attached.
I did say that.
Tell me what you know about the thing that keeps saying beloved to us.
There's a pause in his kind of assured cockiness as he kind of pulls himself back. Is that your request then, Miss Teresa?
It's the only thing I want from you.
All right. Tell me, did your cards work today?
No, something interfered with them.
Yeah. All right. Let's just say about the time your husband died in that mountain, a deal was struck. A good deal. Terrible deal. And she wants her freedom. My sweet beloved. Maybe something's helping her along. Gods know I don't. I can't. That was part of the deal. That good and terrible deal. Don't you think something's terribly wrong with the town of Timber?
Who made a deal? Was it McCavish?
You already got your request.
Foul haint.
We can strike a deal for this inquiry. Something simple. I don't need much.
I ain't striking up no deal with you today.
Won't you hear my request?
You can speak your piece, but I promise nothing.
I want bread. I miss it. Nobody offers me anything anymore. Not in the old ways or old traditions anymore, and I don't want that. I'm a simple being. If someone was free and bread's not a hard request. Pretty sure, looks over to Dare. Your friend could help you.
What do I know anything about folk traditions where, say, giving a gift to a haint or a god basically is a really bad idea?
You can roll intelligence if you have supernatural to boost it or
I do not.
anything history-wise you can. But if you don't, it would just be a flat intelligence roll. You don't know much about offerings, but you would recall that Silas is a superstitious man. And what the Crossroad Man is telling you contradicts that kind of superstition. And that pervasive thought kind of pulls you away from the initial idea of offerings.
I pull a biscuit out of my pouch because I always carry biscuits. Come on.
He kind of looks over at this biscuit, raising an eyebrow.
And I say, I don't want anything from you. And I hand you the biscuit.
You see him kind of hold up his hands. That's not how this works. I would be indebted to you, and I don't like that. I don't like being indebted to things I don't control. But if you're bargaining on behalf of Miss Teresa, I could take it then. You'd still have yours for free, and you'd just be paying the price for Miss Teresa. And that's a mighty fine biscuit, if I do say myself.
This isn't an exchange. This is a gift. You are hungry, and I'm feeding you. If you don't accept this, you don't have the lack of a debt to me. What you have is my pity. Is that what you want?
The eyebrow quirks a little bit further. You would give me your pity. To see the smile grow. Biscuit and a pity. Now, I don't know where they're to be insulted or flattered you'd give me such gifts. Dangerous one, and a nice one.
I'm offering you the nice one.
He reaches out, kind of pinches the biscuit between his middle finger and thumb. I'll collect on your pity later. And he takes the biscuit and kind of sits back and munches on it, looking quite pleased and happy with himself. He almost visibly relaxes, and you kind of see this demeanor of he likes this. He's enjoying himself, and the air of cockiness kind of melts away to almost one of an old friend, as if he's always known you. Now that's mighty nice. But you shouldn't be making deals about your feelings. We things in the dark like to collect on promises.
It wasn't a promise.
Kind of tilts his head. No, but it was an offer. And if I wasn't so generous, I would take that pity from you. But you're dealing with me, and you've given me this, and Miss Teresa has asked you questions, and you, looks over to Jasper, still figuring you out.
I want nothing from you.
That's what they all said to me about 10 years ago when things kind of spiraled out. A great and terrible deal. He kind of settles back. Well, I hate being in debt. And this biscuit is mighty nice, and maybe let's look at some photos. He kind of grins and finishes his biscuit. That's good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow for some. Not here, but I'll be back for more. If they're still freely given.
Sometimes.
That's a good way to go about it, I suppose. But he kind of stands and turns towards the river. Whatever happens here on out, it's on you. But he turns back to all of you. I hope you see it through. And many made that deal. As he kind of taps a tree and an apple falls into his hand. Many made that deal. He starts to walk away.
Well, let's not say his name unless we really mean it, I guess.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan to me. We'll find something else to call him.
Applejack.
Applejack.
As you're discussing what you would name the Crossroads Man, so not to summon him again at the Crossroads, Applejack kind of steps away and fades from your view, and we'll go to break there.
Awesome. We'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes. See y'all soon.
And welcome back, everybody. We're about to head into another part of our story as the Crossroads Man has been renamed into Applejack, so not to accidentally summon him into their midst at Crossroad. The party is left with a myriad of conversations and maybe more questions than answers. But Applejack, as Dare has called him, promises to come back for Dare's pity in whatever form that entails. But seemingly satisfied with his biscuit for now, has left you alone under the moonlit sky.
Thank you for that, Dare.
I don't know that I did any of us any favors. I didn't mean to promise him pity. I must have not used my words very well, as usual.
Critters like that'll take your words and twist them to mean what they want them to mean anyway.
Really.
Well, I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to go down, I want to do it because it's something I meant to do,
Yeah.
not because I was being careless.
Mm.
But we'll see.
Well, I imagine this will be a little bit of a boon for the town. I mean, like, do you, the only people who know about this is who all knows about this grove.
Sounds like Zach and George, and now us. And both of them are eager to keep this a secret. And I did tell Zach that I would use discretion. So uh, if we're going to be doing anything about this or spreading it around, I want to be really thoughtful about that.
I ain't keen on crossing those two.
Mm-mm.
Zach's got a little girl and he worries about her, and that's what led to the thinking about apples and hearing about that they're good for you and that they can cure what ails you.
Mm. Desperation can make us make some not great choices.
Yeah, I
Can't
mean,
totally blame him.
I can't find fault with it.
nah. And it sounds like he ain't gouging folks for these apples anyway, so
Yep.
he's making his coin, and I can't knock him for that.
Yeah. Probably only a matter of time before company finds out about it. They know these parts better than any of us. But
Mm.
let him have his profits while he can.
Yeah, I mean, it might be they might leave him alone, but as long as these apples ain't got coal in them.
Mm.
Well, what do we do now?
I don't know that we want to be hanging out in the woods for no reason,
Nah.
Yeah.
considering the nicest of our the things we encounter just walked away.
Mm-hmm.
You can go still see Silas. It's not so late in the night that he would be bothered by a visit.
Yeah.
If you want. It wouldn't be too far from here to walk to his house.
Did you
Not
want
a
to check in on Silas?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. The only thing I heard about him was Jonas stopped by this morning and said Silas and the others weren't letting him in the mine, which makes sense.
Mm.
But yeah, we could go visit him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do that.
You leave the tree grove. Fireflies are dancing about. It's quite a pretty thing. But the sweet smell of apples kind of follow you out, kind of cling to you as you make your way up to Silas's house. The woods are quiet as he kind of lives closer to the mine, and you have to go through the woods. Usual critters are kind of shuffling about. Possum crosses your path, kind of hisses at you before keeps going on. Doesn't play dead. It's hungry, wants to go eat, so it's just going to hiss at you and carry on its merry way. And as you kind of approach Silas's house, you see his home well lit. There's smoke kind of curling out of the chimney. The lights are on, and looks like he's just getting ready for either finishing a meal or just having a meal, either or. You do see his dogs kind of resting on the porch, and they perk up their head as you arrive, and one kind of slowly lumbers over to you and butts its great big head against your leg there, Jasper, before kind of lumbering back towards the porch. It's an old dog.
Jasper will give dogs all of the scratches.
Yeah, it's a you'd know it to be a red, kind of this kind of red Irish setter, has this wiry fur to it, but friendly enough. They don't really bark at you when you arrive. They're much too old for this. They they're happy with whatever's coming their way.
Yeah, I pet the dog.
Precious
it
puppies.
Loves it, leans into the scratches, leans into all the scratches, and kind of rolls over because that old dog huff, demanding belly pats now that you're kind of paying attention to it. But
Guess we'll knock on the door.
knock on the door. You see what looks to be a sprig of lavender kind of hanging on the door. It's something nice that people do. But a moment passes before the door kind of pulls itself open, and you see the face of Silas still covered in coal dust. He is not a foreman who waits around. He gets down in the mine with his boys and works with them. Folks, mighty good night to see ya.
Mighty good night, indeed. And so hope we ain't disturbing you.
Oh no, just finished up dinner. I'm washing the dishes for my wife. How can I help you? If you want to come in, coffee, I can make some coffee for you.
Come
Yeah,
in.
sure.
He kind of steps back and lets you in. The kind of fireplace greets you all, and it's nice roaring fire. The smell of a nice meal that's been finished up. Dishes kind of setting near the sink. His wife seems to be elsewhere at the moment, but you come in and he kind of gestures to some chairs and kind of takes a wet cloth to clean off his face and sits down. He gets back up and starts a pot of coffee. Sorry about that. It's been a day.
Nothing to worry about. This may be a bit of a tough thing to talk about, and I'll pull out the hagstone.
His eyes flicker to it for a moment as he kind of hovers his hand over the coffee pot. Yeah, huh. He looks towards the stairs and goes to the door that kind of separates the inner house from the kitchen and pulls it shut and sits down, pouring you all a cup of coffee. All right, let's talk.
Now, we've been seeing things that I can't fully explain, and I can explain a lot to a lot of folks, but something keeps referring to beloved. And I know that with this stone, you had a note with the same word on it. What's, is this something that's been haunting you too?
Can't say it has. He gives a kind of tilted smile.
Why'd you give it to me, Silas?
Didn't want it anymore. Not my responsibility. Not anymore.
Where'd you get it?
Ma'am gave it to me before she passed. He nods over to Teresa. She could see things too. I didn't want it. So, I mean, I don't want to see those things anymore. So it's yours. I don't want it.
I would know how long ago that was. Man passed.
Yeah, you would know that Silas's mother passed about 20 some years ago.
Okay. You've had it all this time.
Yeah. She brought it home. She brought it here. And she came over and, well, she gave it to me before she passed and said it was useful, but again, I don't want it. I don't want that responsibility. It's not mine anymore. It's yours.
What is the responsibility?
You see him kind of hesitate. A lot, I suppose. Suppose it's a responsibility to this town, responsibility towards the mountain, and things we see just the corner of our eyes. It's all that, and probably a little bit more, but I can't really speak on it.
What was the burden? Was it to witness? Was it to do something about it?
Supposed to safeguard something that I didn't want to be part of.
And it was a feeling that told you that, or was it something you know? I'm not going to give this back to you if you don't want it.
I don't want it. It's truly well yours.
I
It's no use to me.
I just need to know what it means that you gave it to me.
Kind of opens his mouth to say something but stops. You see him kind of trying to reach for words. He looks up when the floor above him kind of creaks and pauses to listen. My boys and I, we dig the mountain for a reason. And Miss Teresa, when your husband was part of my crew, he was a good man. We all played a part. that night, whether we wanted to or not.
What happened down there the day Owen died?
A lot of things, Miss Teresa. We got our warning, and part of the barter, I suppose, that we all made with the mountain. But there was something else down there, something that shouldn't have been there. And while we did get our warning from Tommy knockers and all that jazz, something else didn't quite seem satisfied. Seemed angry.
Beloved, is that the something else?
So I snapped towards you, Dare. Don't go looking for her unless you want to deal with her.
Whose deal was it that caused all this? Did you make a deal? Did the company?
I can't make deals. People like me can't make deals, Dare. Nah, something else made a deal and
We just pay the price.
he kind of nods. You're looking for 5 people. I wish I knew their names, but that wasn't part of it. That knowledge isn't for people like me.
Dare kind of just nods.
It was a great and terrible deal, I think. I know that much.
What did y'all get? Deals are 2 ways. Y'all gave and got. What did you get?
My boys and I? None. We didn't make the deal. We were a part of it. Unwillingly a part of it. Your husband was part of it. This town is a part of it.
If I had to guess, it's mining rights. You're asking the mountain for permission?
Possibly. I wouldn't know. I just know nearly every day of the week I go up into that mine. Every week I pull something out. And we pay the price until it's done.
Why now? Why you give up the stone now?
Something shifted. Something came into timber. Something rightfully angry.
Did it stop bothering you once you gave me the stone?
Yeah, I think it was satisfied with the exchange.
Well, then I'm happy for you.
God knows I can't help anybody anymore.
I don't know if that's true. You protected Jonas this morning from getting down there and hurting himself.
Well, I think Jonas needs a little help. But ultimately it does serve that deal, unfortunately.
You mentioned seeing things with this stone. What sorts of things have you seen?
Well, mostly Tommy knockers. He kind of pauses. Folk that live in the mountains. There's a bargain between the miners and them. Good one. They help us, we help them. We ignore them, they ignore us. It's a pretty good deal overall. They get a home, we get coal. Saw some weird deer. That was strange. And saw some shadow thing. Looked like a cat, but it wasn't a cat, if that makes sense. And these ladies made of gray. Saw them a lot.
I saw the not deer before I got the stone, didn't I? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Ever
And
see? Oh, go ahead, Miss.
no, go ahead, go
Teresa.
ahead.
No, I want to hear what you say.
Just this past few days, been seeing things myself. Fallen stars, the word beloved, creatures and haints showing up with alarming frequency. I'm still angry about what happened to Owen, but that's between me and the Lord. I know you all have always done everything you could to protect your boys. And I thank you for that. But I am pissed you did not tell me about this. I don't know what I would have done, but maybe could have done something that Owen would be alive today.
I respect that mystery, sir. But that thing took quicker than we could save. Ever see a star dance?
Can't say I have.
I have. What does it mean?
He just has a kind of distant smile to his face. It's beautiful. That's what it means. Your heart feels full and you feel joyous and happy. Feel as if you'd give the world for it. Just to see that dance. She is beloved.
Have you met a stranger in the last day or so? Offered you to whatever your heart's desire?
See kind of that wired, crooked smile across his face. Yeah, but like I said, I can't make deals.
Is that because you already made one?
No, he doesn't deal with people like me.
What's the difference between you, people like you, and people like us?
He ponders the question for a moment. I suppose the ability to move forward.
Why can't you move forward?
Not part of the deal.
You can't make deals.
Deal was made on my behalf.
I see. So it's not that you've already made a deal, it's that your currency is already spent.
He gives a small nod.
Well, ain't that a shit show?
He raises his mug. Yeah, it is.
No, you said you don't know. But do you think that Mr. McCavish is part of this?
Maybe he is the most powerful man in this town.
Probably one of the few that has the gall to promise a whole town to something.
Maybe. But to be a devil's advocate, why trade away your power to something when you've already got that power? He and I will never agree on many things, mostly minds. But I don't think he'll trade away power for something trivial.
So you're saying whatever, if he was part of it, he got something even more precious.
And that would be my guess. But what's more precious than owning an entire mining town?
Men want all sorts of things. Ain't always rational.
I don't know. You run into these rich folk, they're afraid of everything. Usually it starts with afraid of losing what they have. And nothing makes you lose everything faster than dying.
True. We all gotta meet our maker in the end. And if you're making deals with who I think you're making deals with, I'd stop.
Well, you ain't got to tell me twice.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are rushing into deals.
Glances away from you towards things scattered across the wall and then kind of nods a little before glancing back at you. Well, any more questions before I retire back upstairs?
Just one. If you could make a deal, what would you want?
Move forward? I'd wish to move forward.
I take whatever biscuits I have left in my pouch, probably only a few. I don't, carry I don't carry a baker's dozen or anything. And I say, for your boys or yourself, be safe out there.
Mighty fine. Thank you to that. I'll take this up to them tomorrow. I think they like it. Gets lonely down there.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, we'll get out of your hair.
Be careful on the road back. Woods aren't mighty nice this time of night.
Yeah, you ain't gotta warn us twice.
He stands up and takes you to the front door and kind of checks up the stairs to see if his wife is still resting or still upstairs, and opens the door for all of you. The old dogs kind of snuffle at you once more before kind of just retiring back to the porch. They're not really going to bother you. But he kind of waves his hand and thanks and kind of shuts the door as you leave his residence. And anyone who wishes to can make a perception, sight, or a general intelligence look if you don't have any of those.
It's only an 8.
It's a nat 1 for me.
I don't think he participates. Dare participates. And not because you rolled a 1 and now I'm freaked out.
You guys rolled shitty. That's it.
No, I think he's kind of like respecting the privacy. Like he's not going to like
Yeah, reasonable.
looking for more clues or anything.
Yeah. And that one. You, Teresa, don't really see much. Although I would say, do you have training in magic? You have training in magic, correct? Or is it
I do using magic and crafting magic,
okay, so this
but I have an inability in understanding magic.
not a problem. Okay. Teresa, you don't really see anything. The dogs are more distracting you than anything. They're just kind of wanting those little rubs and kind of just doing what dogs do best, kind of flopping around your ankles and shins, just get those last scratches in before they lay back down. They bother you, Dare, because you have biscuits, but fully distracting you.
Also, I have the skill just to scratch.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh yeah, they love that. They're these big dogs are all over you, just loving on you. Jasper, as you kind of watch this display, you kind of glance around this kind of beautiful night that's out there. And as you look around on the porch, you kind of see what looks to be a kind of small plate with bread and cheese kind of left out, next to some rosemary and what looks to be a hawthorn flower, like those nice little pink ones or nice little white hawthorn flowers. And you kind of see something pulling itself around the corner towards it, and then kind of reach up towards the table before it kind of glances in your direction, and you see too many eyes, too many limbs.
I think I'll instinctively grab Teresa's elbow.
What do like as Jasper grabs me, do I see anything?
Oh yeah, you definitely see this thing. And it's wrong. And it's just watching the three of you quietly. The dogs don't seem to pay much attention to it, but they do have this notable shift in their demeanor as they kind of perk up their heads and start to slink away.
I think Jasper would also say dare and like nod to try and like point it out to you.
oh look, what do I see?
Thing with far too many eyes, far too many limbs, coiling black fly nesting of smoke and ash.
I say, I don't see anything, Jasper. No. I probably like stop petting, like, and then realize like I don't want to hurt the dog. And is Silas still at the door, or did he close it?
He's closed the door. He's not at the door. You still see the candlelight inside the house. He's probably not too far from you. He did say he had some dishes to clean up. But it's just you three, this thing, and the dogs.
think Teresa will say, "We ain't here to bother you if you don't bother us, and we'll just be on our way."
Roll persuasion, intelligence, communication. Or if you have ability to talk to supernatural.
Let me see. Look at my abilities. No, I don't have anything like that. I rolled a 2.
2. A 2. Okay. 3, so you smell the smell of rubble, earth, dirt, wetness, iron, decay, rot. You're in its territory and it knows you've crossed the line. Even if it was unintentional, the 3 of you came into its home and you addressed it. And it's not happy. Fundamentally, you understand the fight and flight response on a fundamental level. I think as a whole, generally, everybody understands that. And as it kind of passes its hand over the food, you kind of see and hear the plate spill to the ground, but there's no food. The cheese and bread doesn't fall. It's just the plate. And it kind of pulls itself up to the height of a grizzly bear and makes a step towards you. And you hear it in a quiet, whispering tone.
Oh God, no.
I'm not going to question that command.
Before I run, do I have any? Okay, here's what where my brain went, and I don't know. I'm not sure how to role play this or make this mechanical.
Mhm.
Could the stone that he gave to me, we've been thinking of it as like a cursed item that could bring danger to us. Could that be something that was protecting him, and could this thing be there for Silas? So I guess the question is, do I have the
Mhm.
sense? Can I roll for that? Do I have the sense
Yeah,
that
you
this thing
can
is there
roll
for
for sense
Silas?
of that. Definitely. Let's see.
When I care, I roll well. I
It's the
when you care.
chipmunk. Every time you do the chipmunk voice, you do exceptionally well on the rolls, and I question this. I question the correlation.
Am I doing the chipmunk now?
No.
Oh.
But every time it kind of pops up, you do really well. And I think it's your good luck charm there. But as you kind of gather your senses, you know somewhere in the back of your mind, maybe your dad or your mother told you this, or somebody must have told you this, or maybe it's just the local lore that you've picked up. But hagstones can be protective. They can be a charm and ward as a way of either protecting yourself from whatever's out there in the supernatural world, and they can allow you the sight. But to give it away is quite a gift in itself because it is a multifaceted thing. You're not sure if it's there for Silas necessarily, but you do know that it was looking for something, and it doesn't seem to have found it on this discarded plate, and but has found the 3 of you quite easily, as it was addressed and drawn its attention towards you. And it doesn't seem to like any of you.
Hey, Mr. Crossroads.
You call the Crossroad Man, and you kind of feel this kind of almost the sensation of a spring day, bright and warm for a moment before he appears next to you, blonde, kind of boyish smile on his face, sitting on the porch, sitting next to the discard plate, watching you, watching this thing in front of him. He's like, and he just kind of smiles and says, "Twice in one night, Mr. Dare. I'm a lucky little man myself. Miss Teresa, Mr. Jasper, how are you tonight?"
I know what I want.
By all means.
I want the price of the deal to be paid by those who made it, and not by those who can't currently move forward due to their malfeasance.
Mr. Dare, what a request to give me. And he kind of smiles brightly and stands up, smoothing his front vest. Are you sure that's what you want?
No, but that's what I'm asking for.
Desperate measures and all that, I assume. He looks to the thing that's between you and him, kind of reaches up and grabs the back of it and yanks it back. And you hear him say something in a language none of you understand, and lets go quietly before turning towards Silas's house. Looks to you, Dare. What a thing you've requested of me. And he goes towards the house and pushes the door open. You hear screams. And he drags out Silas's wife and pushes her to the ground. One down, four to go. Dead things shouldn't make deals, and man, did she make a deal. Too bad her husband's dead. As he just smiles and takes Silas's wife by her hair and starts marching towards the woods. What a deal you've made, Mr. Dare, and I am thankful. Breaking the deal of this town, now I can work. What a deal. A great and terrible deal. As he continues dragging this woman screaming into the woods. Now, Miss Silas, you and I are gonna have a lovely meal paid in blood, as promised. And he just keeps walking. The thing that was standing between you and him, that dark and terrible, fly-filled, shadowed ash thing, goes. Leaves you alone. Crossroad Man's is ducking out of sight, heading towards town. You made a deal, Mr. Dare.
I'm just stunned, and I don't think I do anything else. Like, I think I'm too scared to move, too scared to say anything.
Mr. Dare, I think it's best we move along our way.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do here right now. And she kind of grabs you by your wrist, and like you can feel that she's shaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't resist. If you nudge me in a direction, I'll probably go in that direction.
I think Teresa's thinking just be anywhere but here. That would probably lead her to her home, just in like a fugue state.
You travel through the night. You have to go through the woods, unfortunately, to get back, and man, those dark, wet spots are glistening under a dark moon. Trees are uncommonly quiet. You get to the fork in the road where you met Silas the other night. Blood spattered across the rock that he was sitting on. You see him quietly standing there, gash across his head, bleeding, as he's looking off into the direction of the mines. He turns towards all of you as you approach, gives a small nod of his head, and its form just fades quietly, as if it were made of mist. And you hear, dead things can't make deals, Mr. Dare. And he's gone. But you return home to Teresa's place, and moon's terribly ominously bright, the stars twinkling a little too brightly tonight. Shadows are weird. They don't behave right either. Something shifted in a way you didn't expect. But the town is quiet. Nothing echoes up from the holler tonight.
What have we done?
All of us are speechless.
I I just wanted to save Silas.
I have no doubt you are noble, but that creature is far from noble.
You had no way of knowing. Hell, he didn't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll take first watch. I sort of like in a sim kind of fugue state that you were talking about. I'd sort of just walk outside and sit on the porch. And I think that if either of you check on me, I'm either still in this fugue state or I've passed out. Like I'm just like I going through the motions right now.
Teresa's looking for nails in jars, looking for anything she could that maybe she's heard of. Like, she wasn't trained to be a witch. She wasn't trained in those old magics, but she heard stories and she's trying to find something. She doesn't know if she's doing anything right. That she can go and bury at the corners of her yard. Keep whatever foul haints are out there out there.
Easily enough done. You understand the fundamentals of protection. Your corners are safeguarded by iron, and you do see Dare kind of in this fugue state, kind of just quietly sitting there, as you stated. But you do what you need to do. Night's just terribly quiet now. Crossroads Man said there's 4 more. Whether he's collecting those tonight or dragging it out, you don't know.
Jasper will stay here again. Probably not sleep much. About halfway through the night, I'll go outside and grab Dare and have him try to convince you to lay down on the couch for a little while, and I will sit out and watch.
I don't say anything, but I sort of nod and go in. You know, my eyes sort of like half glazed over and go on the couch. I don't know that I sleep either or much, but this feels like what we do, and so it feels like a way to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
You take up post, Jasper, and if you wish, you can make a perception, sight, intelligence roll, whatever you have in this particular space.
Is that 12?
You sit there under the moon-filled night and in this kind of clearing space that Teresa has for her home. You can see things fairly well around you. Moon's bright enough for it. But as you're watching and kind of waiting and listening, a few things catch your notice. Flowers at the borders of Teresa's property wilt, just ever so slightly, as if they've been plucked. It's that stage that flowers have when they're not quite dead, but not quite out of their stage of still clinging to life, that kind of wilts. See some of the bushes acting the same way, as if they've been uprooted in some sort of manner. And that's all you see.
I'll probably bring that up with Teresa in the morning.
I think Teresa finally, instead of just keeping that hagstone in her pocket, she has tied a piece of leather around it and is wearing it around her neck, tucked into her dress, of course, but there, she's wearing it now.
Feels warm against your skin. You're not sure if it's comforting or not, but it's unusually warm. Not burning, but not the right temperature for a stone that it is. Night crawls across the holler. Nothing bothers you all for the rest of the night. It seems Crossroads Man will keep his deal. And nothing seeks you out in the darkness. Even the presence that kind of stands beside you, Teresa, is noticeably quieter. But damn, does that crow and rooster call out in the morning when the sun breaks over that mountain, bringing you to a new spring day.
Damn it, I was hoping that would be one of the 5.
That damn bird.
Almost. That bird has some dealings you don't know of yet.
I know what my second wish is going to be. Okay.
But the morning is yours.
I mean, the only thing Teresa has is her routines right now. So she gets up, she makes breakfast, she makes coffee, she puts the good tablecloth on the table, she puts the candles out. Like she's gonna go to work today. But in a moment between some of these steps, she in her kitchen, just sitting over the sink, just says, Owen, I don't know if you're there. I don't know if you can hear me, but I hope you're looking out for me. And then she continues on.
When the sun comes out, do the flowers and bushes look still the same as they did?
Dead now.
Shit.
And that's outside the property, so it sounds like the wards were working. That was the impression that I got. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good job.
Yeah, I'll pull Teresa outside and point it out.
I'll have to replan them when the time comes.
Well, yeah, I'm more concerned about the why and the what does this mean.
I come out still kind of groggy and not entirely with it, and say, "All right, I'm gonna go check on Miss Beatrice. I'll try not to kill anyone else before lunch." And you just see me walking off towards town, almost like drunk.
Yeah, I definitely want to get her filled in on everything because
Making this kind of trudge towards town. Teresa, you're setting up, and Jasper, you're staying back with Teresa, and there your footsteps heavy. I would assume there's a lot on your plate right now. Intentional or not, you made a deal, and Crossroad Man took that deal. You get to town, and there's people in the square pointing at something written almost in neat handwriting. Just that awkward tilt that makes it just not quite right. You see, the debt needs to be paid, and I'm here to collect. And you see the apron of Silas's wife hanging on a peg, smeared in blood. And you see other posts, 4 more. Right behind it, it says, all across them, beloved, 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 beloved. And the one with the apron says, freedom. A hand clasps your shoulder, Dare.
I flinch like nobody's business.
jump entirely out of your skin.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
It's
very unlike me.
Yeah, it's noticed as Mr. McCavish actually steps into your view, kind of tilting his head. You're right there, my boy. All this business, not right.
Nope.
Yeah. Just be careful when you go back home tonight. Some say something wicked came into the town, and his eyes flicker over to Jonas. Town's got to take care of itself, you know?
What are you saying, Mr. McCavish?
He turns towards you. It ain't right that one of our own dies. Price gotta be paid, yeah? Sheriff's in the next holler over. Won't be here for a few days.
You're talking about taking matters into your own hands?
It's only right. I lost a good foreman today. House is all burnt down. Now his wife is aproned, middle of town, blood everywhere. Something not right. Everything's gone to pot since he's arrived, and I don't take too kindly to my town being ravished by the unknown.
Well, the system of having a trial and getting to the bottom of things ain't perfect, but it's better than just some of us picking and choosing who did it. And I can say pretty confidently you don't want to take matters into your own hands, Mr. Cavage, Mr. McCavage.
Well, if you think that's all fair and right, then I'll defer to the young generation, I have to say. Give me if things are a bit different in my day. He would have been dealt with if it were him. But all this kind of gestures towards the post and the blood. It ain't right.
No, it ain't right.
She has my pity, wherever she is. Anyways, I hope you have a good one, Mr. Dare. We buy get some bread later this afternoon.
My friends call me Dare.
He kind of turns his head back towards you. There. I hope we have a good friendship then. You can call me Alistair, if we're gonna be friends.
I don't say anything, I just look at him.
He gives a small nod of his head and kind of goes towards the post and examines it a bit more closely, kind of a weary sadness. His facade of arrogance drops slightly. He may be a company man, but he seems to still have feelings, no matter what the situation is. And he'll turn towards the others, trying to be of comfort, but this is weird, this is strange. And as the town kind of clamors to watch all of this, can't help but notice 4 more posts stand empty, and the Crossroads Man is just in the back of your mind. Wicked smile, charming, but he has your deal. We'll conclude for tonight as we leave the town of Timber. Leave this strange and dark place for tonight. So, as it's time to go, thank you for joining all of us tonight. I'm Jen. I've been your storyteller for tonight, and we'll go around the table. Sarah, unfortunately, wasn't here to join us tonight, but we'll catch her up next week. Don't you worry. So, Alex, tell us who you are and everything you want to tell us tonight.
Hey, I've been Alex. I write and perform as Lex Wilson. Alexotica on Twitter, lexwilson.bsky.social or something like that on Blue Sky. Something to promote. I was in a film called Curse of Aurore, Aurore. It's if you like horror films or found footage films, it was something we shot in Quebec just before the pandemic. And it actually opened during the pandemic and was like a top film in Quebec because Marvel was scared of us and there was a pandemic and no one was going to theaters. But it's on a lot of streaming platforms, including Amazon Prime in the US and Canada and probably many other places. I believe libraries have it on Hoopla if you would like to check it out. It's Curse of Aurore, Aurore.
Thank you very much, Mal.
I'm Mal, aka Archangelic. You can find me many links to my socials on my website, archangelic.space, but I'm Archangelic in most things, or archangelic.space. I run games on this channel. Sunday nights I run a D&D game, Era of the Dragons. Tuesday nights I run Girl by Moonlight. Sorry, I'm a little frazzled. A lot happened. So yeah, so I run games here. Yeah, that's me. That's all I'm gonna say tonight.
And Soliloquy.
Hey, I am Siliqui Jaden. You can find me everywhere online as Fat Sapphic Bro. I mostly hang out on TikTok and make random content. Feel free to follow me if you'd like. As for streaming, I gave it all at the beginning, but the Cliffs Notes, I'm here on Twitch most Sundays, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m., most Mondays, 5 to 7 p.m., Tuesdays, 6 to 9, and Wednesdays, 2 to 5, all PST. Thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you again for joining us. I hope you had a good story tonight. And just so you know, we love you. Have a good one. See you next week.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.
Bye, friends.